what's good, everybody? Just want to come on here and talk to y'all real quick. A few people, asked me, hey, I see that you went electric. With these rising gas costs, man, it's getting expensive to fill up the tank, and I get that. I was there just in January, so completely understand that. So, like I said, a couple people asked me, so I thought I'd make a quick video and help y'all understand the breakdown, and that way, if that's the route you want to go, you can see if it's right for you. Now, right now I'm just cruising to the gym. One of the things that I was talking about with my boy Chris the other night at this birthday party is that about neuropathy. Coming off my different chemo that I was on. I'm on a new regimen, and I got really good news about that. I'm gonna make a video on my other channel about that. But my nerves are going back pretty slowly. So he asked, do you have a sauna, at your gym? And I don't. But I did find out there was like this technology, an infrared sauna, that is, supposed to give you good results. Help your nerves grow back a little bit faster. Whatever. I'm gonna give it a shot. It's at the Anytime Fitness, but it's the one across town, pretty close to where I used to live. So I'm about to head to the gym, but first I'm gonna go pick up some t-shirts my boy Moses Washington made. I'll give a shout out to him because that dude has come through with some really dope ass t-shirts for me really quickly, and he even ships anywhere you need it to. So if you need a cool t-shirt, or you have a design that you want done, uses quality shirts or whatever shirt you want to put it on, so hit him up, hit my inbox if you need his details. I'll be more than happy to share it. But did want to talk to you all about, again, the cost that I paid for in my previous gas vehicle as compared to what I'm paying in my Tesla right now. Now, I do want to say, I'm not a Tesla salesman. I'm gonna get on here and tell you what my Tesla does, but I'm not gonna sell you on a Tesla. There's plenty of EVs out there. You make up your own mind. Me personally, I love the full self-drive, but sometimes, like, this car's fun to drive. As you can see, I'm driving right now, so I love the back and forth. I do love the full self-drive. It's like a chauffeur. But anyway, coming off the features, let's talk about cost, gas versus electric. Okay, so in my previous car, I had a 2015 Genesis. It had a 19-gallon tank. Okay, so over there by where I live, it's about $3.80 a gallon, roughly. Might be cheaper, might be a little bit more, but where I would have usually filled up, that's what I would have paid. So, hey Grok, what is $3.80 times 19?
$3.80 times 19 is $72.20. That's 3.80 times 19 equals 6.
Okay, so looking at that, let's assume that, I had the Genesis. I was at zero gas completely. I wanted to fill it all the way up to the top in a 19-gallon tank. That would have cost me $72. Okay, so that's our first number. Okay, now what does it look like if, I'm charging the Tesla 0 to 100? Now, for the battery, it is highly recommended so the battery doesn't degrade. Looks like there's some back and forth on this, but even Tesla also tells you try to keep it charged to 80%. So the only time I charge it to 100% is when we're going out of town and it's the start of our journey. Okay, so every day I charge it to 80, but I'm gonna do a 0 to 100 comparison. Okay, so that way you get an idea. Now at 100%, my Tesla gets 270 miles. That's the max. Okay, so I would still need to take that number that I get. I would get roughly 20 miles per gallon in my Genesis. So on a tank, I'd say I'd average about 350 to 360 miles, somewhere in that range. Because sometimes I push the pedal down. Usually get about 370 to 380, but let's just say 370, kind of the sweet in between. Okay, 370 miles. So, hey Grok, in my 2023 Model Y Performance, if I was at 0%, how much would it cost to charge to 100% if I'm paying 12 cents per kilowatt?
75 kilowatt hours to charge your 2023 Model Y Performance from 0 to 100%. At 12 cents per kilowatt hour, that's roughly $9.
All right, so to get to 270 miles in the Tesla, I'd be paying $9. Now, of course, to compare it to the Genesis, where I'd get roughly on average about 370 miles to a tank, I'd have to add another 100 miles to that, so I'd have to do a little bit more charging, right? So assuming I get 270, we'll say roughly about a third of that. I need a third more of a charge, which would be roughly about $3. Okay, so in total, to get the equivalent amount of miles, and this is assuming that I'm charging at home, and generally, I think on the app it shows 99% of the time I'm charging at home, and I'm charging, you know, from like midnight to 4 in the morning, somewhere around there. Okay, CPS charges me 12 cents per kilowatt hour. That's where I got that number from. Okay, so you'd be looking at a total of roughly about $12 to get 370 miles, the equivalent of what I was getting in my gas car, as compared to the $72 I would have paid in gas. Okay, so that gives you a rough idea. And mind you, there's no oil changes, there's no transmission flushes, there's no tune-ups. Since I bought the car used, I replaced a couple of filters when I first got it, but that's the only maintenance I've really done to the car. Okay, so I hope that helps you understand, you know, how the electric works versus the gas and cost. So if you have any questions, always just hit me up. If I don't know the answer, we can look for it together. All right, so cool coming out talking to y'all. I'll at y'all. Peace.